In this video, we have a look at JavaScript. JavaScript is the third core language that is used in web development. It comes after HTML and CSS. You'll get to realize that these three languages stack very well on top of each other. HTML is used to put content on your page. CSS is used to style HTML by making it look better. But what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a programming language that is used to achieve more dynamic functionalities on your page. It brings a lot more functionality like real-time updates on your website, animations. You are able to store information that you obtain for your pop-ups, and you can perform more complex functions. Although JavaScript is not exclusively a client-side or front-end technology, that's where it's mostly used, but it can also be used for server-side development. JavaScript uses the .js extension for its files. You can create a separate JavaScript file to put your JavaScript code as we can with CSS, or you can simply add your JavaScript using the script element in your HTML. You can add it in your body or in your head. It will be identified when your browser processes your HTML document. You've probably heard of EMCA script if you're not a beginner developer. But what is it, and how does it differ from JavaScript? EMCA script is just a standard for scripting languages. The same way we have standards for CSS, HTML, we also have standards for scripting languages. The 2017 version is the most stable release that we have. As we said, standards bring more functionality to our existing languages. For EMCA script, we have string padding, that is increasing more space within your text, async functions, and more. We won't dwell a lot on these technical terms for the sake of our beginner developers. But a function in general is a section of a program that is used to perform a particular task, and it has a name. So you can use it if you want to repeat a sequence of tasks or to do a lot more like return values. Let's have a look at some example code. We said you can add your JavaScript as an external file. The first example is how you link to your external file. You use the script element and specify the src. The src is an attribute that we use to specify a path or file name. So it means we have a file name called myjavascript.js. Then in your separate myjavascript.js file is where you can put your JavaScript code. For example, we have a function like we said that's called update name. You have a variable called name. We said with JavaScript you can also store some important information to use for your website. This particular code will just create a pop-up that says enter your name, where you can type your name, but we haven't really done anything with the name. The last example performs the same task, but we've just changed the way of adding the JavaScript to our page. This script element is used in the head or body sections. This is where you specify your JavaScript code instead of specifying it in a separate file. With JavaScript, you can perform a lot more functionality, like adding pop-ups to your website, updating your buttons, your headings, images, adding elements, or even removing them in real time without having to refresh your page. This is one of the most important uses of JavaScript. So in summary, this is how it all works. You use your HTML to put elements on your page, your text, your buttons, your images, and many more. You use HTML to put elements on your page, your text, your links, your buttons, your images. Then you use CSS to style the way they look, add borders to your buttons, add a larger font size to your text. Then, with JavaScript, we can change how your page behaves. When you click a button, what happens? I update the title of my page. I add the name of the user to my website for it to be a bit more custom. That's all we have for this video. Let's discuss the frameworks that are available for us to use so that we can use the CSS, HTML, and JavaScript more easily.